And so when I was asked, why do I even do all this Baldcafe stuff? It's because I know that there are literally like millions of men who are thinking the exact same thing as I thought when I was sat in that chair, or at any other time, you know, sat at the back of my university classroom. And I know that right now, probably you watching this are in that headspace, right? Not only, again, I kind of speak to both audiences here. The ones that are in that headspace currently, where they're doubting themselves, and it's like, you don't have to think that about yourself. Like the fact that you're thinking less of yourself just because of this hair stuff, and then you're like blocking yourself from all the amazing achievements that you could have because of this insecurity, because of the confusion, because of the, like, it just sort of consumes you in that way. This is why I'm making all these videos now about how to get out of that. The balding will become your biggest strength at video, the mini series that I've filmed out here, this video, the BALDMAXXING, the Instagram, my central mission of helping men never doubt themselves over this whole hair loss thing, and use the fuel of experiencing hair loss and experiencing that insecurity, but more importantly, experiencing that doubt of yourself, right? So any man who's had experience with hair loss and then that has caused him to doubt himself, guys, this is just going to be a chill one. It took me a while to get into it, but eventually I got there and I delivered what has been in my mind this entire trip for you. So bit of a different video, but honestly just wanted to speak from the heart on all of this stuff, because I've had some really amazing conversations this week with the guys that I work with kind of behind the scenes of Baldcafe, the guys that I work with one-on-one. I did a few podcasts that really made me think, like, this is incredible. So with that, I want to just touch on why I came here on this trip and what this whole BALDMAXXING thing is that I keep talking about, that is a little bit tongue-in-cheek. That's kind of how I like to do things. I don't like to take everything, you know, so seriously, but there is an important meaning behind it, and I just wanted to share what it means to me and perhaps what it can mean to you and for you in your life and in this whole balding, overcoming that and much more. And the sun's about to go up a little bit. There's two sides to this BALDMAXXING, right? Which is, we're just going to call it that for now. Pre-acceptance, which means you are, that doesn't even matter if you've still got the hair or after the hair, because there are guys who, you know, have gone bald but are still struggling with that transition, right? Use the fuel of the insecurity, of the doubt, and apply these principles in BALDMAXXING or in the Trident method that I outline, which is forge the physical foundation. Okay, I did the mini series on this. Check that out. Forge the physical foundation, map the vision for your life, which is like your purpose, your mission, your vision for how you want your life to look like. And then take those leaps, right? Eventually, the first two, forge and ascend, which is like the vision, right, are going to lead to the point where you have to take some kind of leap of faith. And so for me, for example, right, if I'm forging, right, I'm working in the gym, that's kind of bringing everything together, or that's laying the foundation for everything else to happen. Then I'm, you know, I've got my vision of how I want my life to look like. And it's like, okay, well, Harry, you're saying that you want to experience this like long term, and you want to create better content to get that message out there so that I can help more people, right? Which kind of has this cycle of success that, again, I'll talk about that in the mini series. It's like, all right, put your money where your mouth is then, and go and book your trip. And I was like, oh, should I, shouldn't I? You know, I start to have thoughts about, like, should I really spend the money on this? Is that a good idea? Like, am I going to go and just waste the time? Like, oh, am I going to get, I don't ever think I'm going to get bored, but like, to be honest, that isn't an insecurity. Like, oh, I'm here on my own. I never worry about that. Like, I like it, to be honest. But, you know, anyway, on some level, you have these doubts, right? And you know, I've got other trips that I need to go on. I've said I'm going to go on, and like, can I do it all? Like, maybe not. And eventually you've got to just take that leap and just bloody do it, right? You just got to bloody do it. Like walking up to that peak, I was like, when am I going to do that then? Should I do it? And I was like, Harry, just bloody do it. Even going into that Chinese to like speak to that woman, I was like, is she going to think I'm cringe if I go in there and I'm like, hey, can I speak Chinese? Like, literally, what's the worst that's going to happen? She's just going to go like, no. Which is what happened in the first one, to be fair. Like the barbershop, right? I walked in there. I wanted to film a barbershop video in his chair. And I got no's before that. I had like 2 people say no. I got aired by like 4 other barbershops. And I was like, right, sod this. I'm just going to go straight for the jugular. I'm going to walk into the barbershop and ask the man directly in a nice way, obviously. And eventually it happened. And I was getting pretty down in the dumps about that. But again, I keep referencing it, but in the miniseries, which is what I came here to film, I reference this, like those like little micro leaps, because you put your mind in that space of taking those little leaps. You just train yourself to constantly do it, which is essentially the thing you need to do to get the results, right? The results that you want, and have that vision that you do in like part 2 of this whole thing. That's how you have that come to life, right? So that's why I came here. Now, where am I going with this point? So I probably could have called the whole thing like BALDMAXXING, to be honest. But before I kind of started to use that phrase, I had already come up with the whole like trident, the 3-pronged attack of the trident method, right? But it really is, that's really what BALDMAXXING is. Just BALDMAXXING is like a fun name, right? And I was talking about whatever side of the fence you're on, right? You either use the fact that you are currently now insecure about your balding, you're unconfident, you're not getting the results you want. So implement all these things that I talk about in BALDMAXXING, okay? Implement those now so that you can pull yourself out of this insecurity. Or if you're on the other side, like me now, the reason why I'm doing all of these things is kind of twofold. It's one, I look back on that man that was sat in that chair, doubting himself, living in fear, not thinking I was good enough, feeling like I needed to hide myself away, cover myself up. And I'm like, I will never, ever do that again. Never will I allow myself to think of myself in that way, right? So the fact that I've like transcended that problem there really fuels me to just like I keep saying it, but sky's the limit, you know? It's like, I've done that, like, where can I take this? What else can I do? Because it gives you so much belief. Like, it sounds ridiculous. This will sound ridiculous to people that have never experienced it. You know, they'll be like, all right, bro, chill. You're just like shaving your head. But it's not that. It's about the fact, all the stuff that was going, again, this whole thing is mental. It's all the stuff that was going on inside, all that doubt, you know, all that fear. It's like, dude, what was I doing? And so that fuels you, right, to do all of this stuff after the fact, you know, the like, right, I'm going to get in the best shape of my life because I know I can do this stuff, right? I'm going to have a vision, I'm going to get clear on it, and I'm going to execute because I overcame that initial doubt with the balding. It's like the next time I have a doubt, like let's just say this small one, like the Nepal trip or this little trip here, and I'm doubting, like, should I do that? Is it a good idea? It's like, no, just do it. Just do it. So that's what I'm here, and that's what this whole like BALDMAXXING thing is essentially. And another thing that I should have said as it came to my mind, but I forgot. Let me have some of this decaf a second. How beautiful is it here, by the way? Europe, the Med. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. And so when I was asked, why do I even do all this Baldcafe stuff? It's because I know that there are literally like millions of men who are thinking the exact same thing as I thought when I was sat in that chair or at any other time, you know, sat at the back of my university classroom. And I know that right now, probably you watching this are in that headspace, right? Not only, again, I kind of speak to both audiences here. the ones that are in that headspace currently where they're doubting themselves, and it's like, you don't have to think that about yourself. Like the fact that you're thinking less of yourself just because of this hair stuff, and then you're like blocking yourself from all the amazing achievements that you could have because of this insecurity, because of the confusion, because of the, like, it just sort of consumes you in that way. This is why I'm making all these videos now about how to get out of that. The balding will become your biggest strength at video, the mini series that I've filmed out here, this video, the BALDMAXXING, the Instagram. This is all the work I do with guys one-on-one, because there is nothing more rewarding than seeing a man that is doubting himself take the action to, like, literally give him the epiphany of, like, oh my goodness me, I cannot believe where I was to where I am now. And seeing men do that is, like, genuinely what I live for. It's the most incredible thing. So it's what I live for myself now, right? And there's nothing better than seeing other men do it, because I always think, like, look at the world around us and how much amazing stuff is going on, right? Like, because there is. And how many guys are responsible for, like, just doing cool shit. None of this, none of this cool stuff would be going. Like, I'm going to say it, even like walking around Poland and seeing the man with his, like, wife and his kids, like, having a good time, like, they're messing about on scooters and stuff. It's just, like, cool stuff. And I was speaking to a guy the other day, and he was like, you know, the guy rang me up. He was like, we're going on this epic fishing trip. We're leaving in 20 minutes. Like, you come in? He's like, yeah. And he said he had, like, literally the best day ever, diving in the ocean, like, snorkeling, catching fish. And he was like, if I was still back insecure, like, worried about hair fibers or a hat or whatever, I would never have been able to experience that time with my friends, on so many levels, right? So that's why I do it. That's why I do it. It's just like, I think because it just relates so much to my own experience, where I just feel so strongly about the fact that I thought of myself in that way, or really had that mentality of, like, I can't do it. And now I'm just so hell-bent. I'm almost like, I'm hell-bent on showing that guy in the chair, like, that was the dumbest shit you ever could have been thinking, you know? And I get a real buzz out of it. I get a real kick out of it, honestly. It's like, I called it the other day hard. I was talking about dating with some guy, and I was like, dude, obviously there's, like, nuance to it, but ultimately I said, if you need to do this on hard mode, because that's what you think it is, like, because he had real, like, beliefs about, like, no, but it is, like, hard. I was like, okay, if that is true, which is, like, it's, like, true for him, right? But, like, if that is your truth, then so be it, and get the success anyway. And then when you get it, it's going to be all the more bigger of an achievement, because you'll be like, I did it on hard mode, or, like, legendary mode, right, in the game, because, you know, you had to do it with a shaved head or whatever. It's like, get the thrill out of doing it via this way of, like, people saying it's going to hold you back or whatever. Like, I think, again, that's another massive thing that fuels me. So I could talk about this stuff forever, but essentially that's why I do this. That's why I do Baldcafe. That's why I work with guys one-on-one. That's why I do these BALDMAXXING trips. That's why I outline these principles that you can apply in your life to not only completely push past this balding, but take your life in all different aspects to levels that you will look back on and be shocked at just where you got to from where you were previously at one point, right? All that doubt, all that fear in any aspect of life. It's truly incredible. And I've had a great time out here. So thank you, Greece. Thank you to all the guys that I met out here. Like, that was amazing. Straight off the plane, and I met Paris. Shout out to him. Thank you to the people of Greece. You were all really lovely, especially the guy in the restaurant that served me up that beef. And he was like, yeah, you've been Jim, you can eat a lot. And I was like, man, that really tickles my my taste buds when you say that. Overcoming the balding insecurity is literally just the start, and then go on to successes so high that the balding stuff, you won't even ever really talk about it. It's just, that will be the entry wound and the fuel which you should be grateful for achieving the success, right, that you want, because you're like, I will never return to that guy that doubts himself. So with that said, that's BALDMAXXING. I hope you've enjoyed this video, giving you a bit more insight into what's going on here at Baldcafe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in that next video. Let me know where you think I should go next.